From the Uniontown Hospital studios at your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM WMBS. It's hour number 2 of the Health Insurance Store with Aaron Zolbrod on What's on Your Mind. Aaron, welcome back. I hope you went outside and enjoyed some of the sunshine.
Oh, it's just been a crazy day, Bill. You know, my phone probably rang 4 times while we were on the air, and, you know, again, we talked about this in the first hour. I don't know. I just got a feeling things are getting ready to break out, and hopefully some sort of normalcy, and people are going to get back to work, and I hope. Sure, it feels like it with us anyways.
We just had a story where some of the auto plants are reopening, so that's good news as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I got a good friend who sells cars up in Crawford County, and I actually just went and picked up a vehicle I bought from him a little bit ago. I went and picked it up because they were closed, and you know, I was just able to go. He said he sold 7 cars on Tuesday and Wednesday, between Tuesday and Wednesday, and I have another friend that works at the same dealership, and they are slammed. There was just a pent-up demand since they were closed for a couple months, and you know, it feels great to see. You know, it's great just to see it. You know, to know that those guys are making money, that people are spending money, and they're still in need, and you know, I think as more and more things open back up, we're just going to see the economy bounce back, and again, hopefully, get to some normalcy, do it safely and intelligently, and let's get back to living.
And if you would like to give Aaron a call here on the program, it's 724-438-4593. And the phone number for the Health Insurance Store is 724-603-3403. The website is getyourbestplan.com. And if you want to ask him a question, I was just thinking you're probably one of the people who did stay very busy during the lockdown period.
You know, we slowed down a little bit, and I think, again, Bill, and I think the reason why we're just getting so busy now, you know, so much busier now or in the last couple of weeks is I just think people, you know, yeah, maybe I needed to get insurance or needed to get my Medicare, but, you know, I put it off because we've got so many other concerns and so many other stresses, and, you know, we're dealing with how to be safe and how to make sure, you know, we got food on our shelves, and, you know, I just think people have other thoughts, and I just think maybe that's why, you know, it feels to me like, you know, everything's breaking out is because people are saying, okay, I can take a deep breath. This is starting to, you know, I feel like this COVID's starting to look in the rearview mirror a little bit, and now I can get to the stuff that, you know, was on my mind but wasn't pressing. Right. You know, is kind of how I feel about it. But no, I mean, we did definitely slow down a little bit. I mean, we were steady enough to keep everybody working. But now, like I said, it's just the phones are ringing. People are asking questions, and again, it feels great as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm sure in future shows we'll talk about people who had to get a bridge, a stopgap system, and then they're back at work, or they've moved on to another period of their life. But again, that's a future show. I'm sure you're going to have some examples of that to talk about.
Absolutely.
But right now, let's restate, because somebody who might have missed hour number 1, you have exciting news about a new program that we've been covering here, where basically free with your scripts right now.
Yeah, so to back up again, there's always been foundations to help, and they're usually called patient assistant programs, okay, is what they're called, for people who are taking expensive brand name medications who can't afford them. And so, you know, if you met certain qualifications, and let's specifically talk about people on Medicare, if you met certain qualifications as far as income goes, which we're going to get into really soon, you can't. There are certain circumstances where you can get your medications for free, but there were some things that had to happen first. So with people on Medicare, it's first you had to hit your donut hole, okay, which is you had to have exhausted $4,000 worth of, you know, you had to have received, not paid, you're not paid $4,000, but received $4,000 worth of medications before you landed in your donut hole. And when you land in that donut hole, you have to pay 25% of the cost of your medications until you spend about $2,500. Now, these foundations said, okay, we won't make you wait till you spend $2,500. Once you've spent $1,000, which includes your copays that you've already paid, we will give you your medications for free if you qualify on the income-wise. qualify at the income limits. Well, Novo Nordisk, which is the maker of a lot of diabetic drugs, said we're not going to make people hit their donut hole, and we're not going to make them spend $1,000. We're going to go ahead and give those medications for free regardless, as long as you meet those income qualifications. And again, let's talk about those 5 medications. They're very popular. Tresiba. I shouldn't say popular because I don't know, diabetes isn't popular, but they're very commonly prescribed.
Yeah.
Tresiba, Levemir, Novolog, which includes a Novolog Mix 70/30, and Novolin. I don't understand the difference between those. Now, those are in the vial or the pens. Then you have the non-insulin medications, the non-insulin injections, which are for people with type 2 diabetes. And these are Victoza and Ozempic. Again, I continue to meet so many people who take these. And again, it's not bad at first. It's when you hit your donor hole that it really hurts. But again, Novo Nordisk, pat them on the back. They have done this. So this is really big for people who are just going on these medications, because you won't even have to meet your deductible possibly. You can just get these things for free immediately. But again, if you qualify income-wise, you can get these medications for free.
So let's talk about those qualifications and who is going to qualify. And you mentioned income as well as one of the qualifications.
So this is great because, usually we've talked a lot about PACE and PACEnet, right, Bill, and the qualifications for that. And it's pretty liberal. They're pretty generous. This is even more generous. As long as your adjusted gross income is less than 400% of the poverty level, and they're listening as your total household income. I'm not sure if they're taking it as your gross, so I don't know if it actually, I should take it back about the adjusted gross incomes. I can't, because adjusted gross income would allow you to take into, some deduction, so I'm not sure if that would allow you to do that. If you're self-employed, it's a different story, but if you're employed or you're getting Social Security, it's probably going to be your gross income, not adjusted gross. But 400% of the poverty level is huge. So let's just explain that. So for PACEnet, for a single person, it's like $29,700 to qualify for PACEnet. For this program, Bill, $51,040 for a single person. If you make $51,040 a year or less, you qualify. For a married couple for PACEnet, it's I believe it's $37,900, around 38, just around 38,000. We'll get into that a little bit more here shortly. Yeah. For a married couple, Bill, 68,960, and you qualify for this program. So single person, $51,040, and a married couple, $68,960, which I'm going to tell you, Bill, that's probably 98% of seniors in Fayette County.
I would say that. I was thinking about that.
At least 90, right?
Yeah, these
at least 90%.
Yeah, and we're talking about just about everybody. You're not living in a hovel somewhere, but hey, if the program is there, take advantage of it.
Oh, please, listen. Anybody who makes less than that, as far as I'm concerned, is on a fixed income. When you're a senior, we don't want you spending $3,000 a year on your drugs, and that's basically what this comes down to. If you've just met your donut hole, this is going to save you about $1,500 to $1,800 this year. If you haven't met your donor hole yet, it's going to even save you more than that. And so, again, let's repeat that. So again, let's go back. Novo Nordisk Patient Assistance Program, 5 very common diabetic medications. These are the insulins: Tresiba, Levemir, Novolog, which includes Novolog Mix and Novolin, and then the non-insulin injections, Victoza and Ozempic. They're going to be free for you if you qualify based on that income. Single person, $51,040. Married couple, $68,960.
So the point here is, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I make too much money or we make too much money, it's worth looking into.
Well, you probably don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill, I'm going to tell you, I can, in a year's time, I may sit with 300 people. I may, have appointments 3 to 500 people. I don't know. I've never counted. And I bet you I don't meet more than 20 in Fayette County who, a single person who makes more than $51,000 and a married couple who makes more than 70 or 69. Now in Allegheny County we meet a lot more that do, But here in Fayette, Westmoreland, Washington, Greene, Somerset, where we talk to most of our people, we just don't. So I'm telling you, I think 90 or more % of people in Fayette County in our listening radius are going to qualify for this.
And if you want to give Aaron a call at the health insurance store, if you have any questions, 724-603-3403, online at getyourbestplan.com. And if you want to call Aaron, and it's, by the way, we're taking questions on any health insurance related topic, but especially this, if you have a question, 724-438-4593. We've got about a half hour, so plenty of time to take your questions with Aaron Zolbrod and the health insurance store. Well, let's say we're listening to this and going, this sounds like a great plan. What do I got to do? So what's the process?
So you have to apply. We have the application. If you want a copy of the application, we can email it to you or mail it to you. Obviously, again, the biggest one is the income: $51,040 for a single person, $68,960 for a married couple. You'll need to get proof of income. I'm looking at the application right here. It says you need one of the following: a copy of your 2 most current pay stubs or earning statements from all working members of the household, copy of last year's federal income tax return, the 1040. Copy of your Social Security income, pension, or other income statements, including interest or dividend statements, copy of a W-2 or 1099, or a copy of your unemployment benefit statement. Okay, one of those. Okay, that would include, obviously if you're collecting unemployment and you're getting Social Security, then you would need both.
Right.
But those are the documents you would need. You also need the application must be signed by the prescriber. In other words, that's your doctor.
Right.
Has to sign that, and then that's it. So if you want a copy of the application, again, you can just call the office or email us and request that, and we can either, like I said, we will either mail it or email it to you, and you can get it filled out. And it's a pretty simple application. It's not 26 pages. It is It is basically 2 pages. Basically, It's 3 pages, but it's 2.5 pages. It's not long. It's pretty simple, actually. So we're happy for people. We're excited about this. This is some of the biggest news, honestly, the biggest deal, especially in Fayette County. And this is almost as big of a deal as when they raised the PACE-Net income limits last year. It's on that level. It's a big deal.
It's the health insurance store with Aaron Zolbrod on your local station, and we're taking calls at 724-438-4593. And Aaron, we have somebody on the line if you're ready to speak to them.
Absolutely.
All right. Hi, you're on the health insurance store with Aaron. Who are we talking with here?
John here.
John?
It seems like there should be some sort of criminal charges that could be brought against those large drug companies like Merck and Pfizer, et cetera, for the profiteering they're doing off the backs of senior citizens.
I agree, brother, and it's and I've talked about it on other shows before. I can't stand it. It's not just profiteering on the backs of seniors, but it's profiteering on the backs of taxpayers, and let me tell you why. PACE-Net is a program that helps people with their cost of their medications, and it's paid for by the lottery. And PACE-Net is paying, that program is paying those exorbitant prices too to get seniors their medicine. So even though the seniors are paying less money, if we didn't have that program, guess what we could be using the lottery for? Maybe making our roads better.
Yeah.
Maybe we could use it to improve our schools.
Sure.
Maybe we could use it. So instead, guess where it's going? It's going It's going to the bottom line of these drug companies, right? Medicare.
Yeah, all they have to do is go into their laboratory, mix up a new set of chemicals, and then charge whatever they want for it.
Call it brand name. And Medicaid. Guess who pays for that? Taxpayers, right? How many people are on Medicaid in the country? Tens of millions. They get their drugs for basically free. Well, guess what? They're still paying $1,000 for Traceba a month. It's just you and I are paying for that, right?
Right.
So you got Medicare, Medicaid, and PACE-Net that are all government programs that at the end of the day, the taxpayers are paying for, and those profits are going into drug manufacturers' pockets. But here's the thing. Guess who's protecting them? Congress is, right? Because they haven't passed any laws that would limit the cost, because we're going to get into this here shortly. The cost of the drugs in our country can be 3 times, 4 times as much as for the same medications in every other civilized country in the country. So what Canada pays is what the retail, not just what we pay, but the retail cost in Canada for that Tresiba is $300 instead of $1,000. Now, how can that go? How can that be? It's only because our government protects these companies, because again, they're lining the pockets of these of our politicians' campaigns, and I got a real problem with that.
Well, Don,
yeah, basically all they have to do is go in their lab, mix up a new set of chemicals, and then charge whatever they want for it.
I mean, that's kind of a I'm not going to disagree with you. It's a pretty simple way of putting it. I mean, there's probably a little bit more to it than that, but I'm not going to disagree at all with that. They can take a drug, tweak it a little bit, right? When it's going to go generic, tweak it a little bit, and now it's brand name. You know what I've seen before? They take 2 drugs that are generic, that are $4. They combine them into one pill, and now it's brand name again, and it costs $400.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, thank you.
Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to join us, 724-438-4593. Again, the health insurance store number. If you can't pick up the phone right now, 724-603-3403, and the website is getyourbestplan.com. And before we get back into this, it should also be pointed out that the pharmaceutical industry, Big Pharma especially, is one of the major donators to political campaigns all over the country.
Oh my gosh! I mean, and again, I don't know how they're good at sending it through this and that and the other, and so nobody knows who's actually taking it. We just think, right, that it would be more available on seeing who's taking the money, like which Congress people and which senators and which Congress people are taking the money. We need to know that. I think we
could say all of them. And
I would be pretty safe to say all of them. Yeah, I would be safe to say all of them. Then, they probably give big donations to each committee, right? The DNC and the RNC, and then they filter it down to candidates. I would say it's safe to say all of them too, Bill. Unfortunately.
Well, we are talking about this new program to get your insulin or your diabetic medicine free right now. When we say right now, I mean, really, how much of a lag time are we going to have here between starting the process and getting
this is what it says on the application. What to expect next. Allow 1 to 2 business days for application processing. That's it. If approved, allow additional 10 to 14 business days for delivery of medication to your prescriber's office. I talked to somebody the other day. She was so nice. When I called to ask about the program and we learned about this, she was so nice that she said, listen, if they don't hear from us quickly, have them call us back. If that's any indication, it doesn't sound like a very tough process. That's why I'm saying, if you're close to hitting your donut hole, if you just hit it, let's get this application started. I mean, if you get this thing to your doctor and get him to sign it, him or her to sign it, and then you could fax it or mail it off to where it needs to go, quickly. I mean, you could have your stuff ready for you in a couple weeks. It looks like.
Because in time for your next refill, probably.
Yes, that's what I'm. Yes, absolutely. If we get on it now.
Now, do you think they'll be able to keep? I mean, obviously, if they get bombarded with applications, but do you think they'll be able to keep it timely?
Well, here's the thing. Guess who's first? We are. Because I told you this is not something that they're advertising in neon lights. So, in Fayette County in southwest Pennsylvania, where I'm going to make this clear to people, I don't know how many people are doing what I'm doing right now, and on the radio, and going to be in the newspapers and telling people about this. So, let's our community, let's get on it. those of you who need these medications, call our office, and we'll get this application right out to you and get it processed. And, there's even a number you can fax it to speed that process up. And what I would do if I was somebody is I would fax it, and I would follow up with it 2 days later with a phone call. Hey, did you get my fax? Just want to make sure you got it.
And again, if you would like to get an application or more information about this, you can call Aaron at 724-603-3403 for the health insurance store. Not yet open for walk-in business. That's a little down the road, but still we can work through phone calls, through faxes, through emails, and you can get your process going. And if you'd like to ask Aaron a question right now, 724-438-4593 for What's on Your Mind on your local station. So we've talked about what Nova's doing. Do you think that, again, and we talked about this a little in the last hour, is there anything in the pipeline from any of these other drug manufacturers, or do you think there will be?
There better be.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's two other things. I'm mad. I'm like, who was the caller? Was it John?
Yeah.
I'm like him. I'm mad. I'm mad at these companies. I'm not mad that they make a profit. I'm mad that they're not taking care of our seniors more, and they're not taking care of our working poor, maybe a little bit more. Maybe that they could be selling drugs to taxpayer entities, maybe Medicaid, Medicare, VA, PACE-Net, these programs. Maybe they could cut us some breaks, right, that are on the taxpayers' backs. At the end of the day, when our insurance prices also go higher, a lot of it's due to the price of drugs. At the end of the day, that comes back to the working man. So even I don't make my employees pay for their insurance. I pay 100%. But guess what? If I could pay maybe $1,200 less a month for their insurance, maybe I could give them a little extra raise every year. Things of that nature. But to answer your question, Bill, I hope. I bet you a couple of maybe one or two more will. Hopefully there'll be some pressure put on them to do it. What I will tell people is, follow us on Facebook as these, as we discover this, we will announce it. Obviously we'll come on the show and announce it too. If it happens again, we'll list those other manufacturers. I mean, we're obviously dedicating this show entirely to this announcement because it's such a big deal. I don't know if we'll do that on future shows, but we certainly will come on and say, hey, add Johnson & Johnson to the list, and here's their list of drugs that they're also doing. But if you follow us on Facebook, I'll put that stuff out there, and other information as well too, Bill.
This also begs the question: do you think this will be expanded as to other situations, other drugs outside of the world of diabetes?
Well, this just happens to be Novo Nordisk's their forte. Right. Is they're mostly they're big into the diabetic medications. I don't know every medication that they do, but I did hear that they mostly specialize in diabetic medications, so they don't do a lot of other stuff. But that Novolog is. I mean, you got to. I'm guessing here. I'm guessing you're probably talking about a minimum of 50 to 75% of all brand name diabetic medication that's prescribed is through them. So if we're looking at things like let me tell you what a very, very common, other than insulin, right now the most common prescribed drug is it's the blood thinner.
Eliquis.
Eliquis. There it is, Eliquis. That is probably the most commonly prescribed brand name drug on the market, other than insulin, is Eliquis, and it is a substitute for warfarin. People who are on warfarin have to go get blood work done every 2 to 4 weeks, or even some. I just met a guy that has to do it every week.
Ooh.
He's doing it at home, actually, and it's a substitute for warfarin. And Xarelto is another one, but I think Xarelto is a little bit. I think they had some issues as far as some side effects. So I don't think that's nearly as prescribed as much. But when I'm seeing that, pretty much anybody who's had a heart attack, stroke, a bypass, is taking Eliquis.
Yeah, or if you have AFib or any kind of...
Correct. Right. It's a blood thinner. I mean, it is so commonly prescribed. So I'm hoping that the manufacturer of Eliquis will do that because it's $450 a month.
And again, you're liable once you hit the donut hole to pay 25% of that. And even though we may say, well, it's only $125. If you're on fixed income, that's still a chunk of change.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, it's still chunk. I mean, $450. I mean, you're paying $40. You're paying $40 for it, and then you go to the store one day and they'll tell you it's going to be $112.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
And so, yeah, exactly. And if you hit it, as we said, the donut hole is based on how much the medicine you are buying actually cost and the total of the purchases that you are making. So if you're taking Eliquis plus, let's say, one of these insulins or these diabetic drugs.
For God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about $3,000, $3,500 you're going to spend on your medications for the year. And just so everybody knows, Eliquis is made by Pfizer, which is the third most profitable pharmaceutical company in the world at just under $12 billion net. Okay? This is net income, folks. This is after they pay all their bills,
right?
All their salaries, their research and development, right, that they say is so costly, all the advertising they do on television. This is net income. Just under $12 billion in 2019. So when I say they better, the whole world is struggling right now.
Yeah.
People have lost their jobs. You know what? They're not. Let's see them contribute.
I'll see everybody pitch in, and you touched on something there. I mean, we will hear the drug companies say, well, we have to do the research and the development and the testing. The government mandates all of these tests, and so that's why drugs cost so much. And what is that the case, or is there other things coming into play here?
Bill, cry me a river. Okay, Johnson & Johnson made $16.33 billion, and and I'm not sure, but I got to guess that they're getting grants for some research and development too. And I know these guys create jobs, and God bless them. And I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. Okay? But we're talking about people's health and livelihood and life or death. I mean, people will die without insulin. People will lose limbs without insulin. Okay?
Right.
So, we're not talking about General Motors here. People making profit off of luxury items, right? Like Disney.
Yeah.
Or I get that. I don't blame Disney for charging for a luxury item. You know what it's worth? Whatever you can get for it.
Right.
Right? If somebody's willing to pay you $300 to walk in Disneyland, God bless you. It's a luxury item. But when we're talking about life or death, medications such as insulin, blood thinners, and things of that nature, I've got a problem with it, especially when they're selling it. It can be purchased all over the world for a third of the price. So we talked about Victoza, right?
Right.
$1,000 in the United States, $370 in Canada.
Now, this also begs the question, are they, is the government helping out by throwing up roadblocks to buying these drugs in other countries and bringing them in?
Well, you can, so you can do it. Technically, it's not legal to buy your drugs from Canada, but they don't, there's no enforcement of it. But the problem is, so I can buy it for $369 in Canada, but that's my cost.
Right.
That's their cost, and that's my cost. I can't use my insurance to buy medications in Canada. Okay?
Right.
And so, maybe that's the next step. If they force insurance companies to allow people to use their insurance and they have to pay claims on if I buy Victoza out of Canada, I'm allowed to use my insurance for that.
Right. So if you're paying $40 before you hit the donut hole for Eliquis or something like that, you're going to want to do that instead of going to Canada and spending $300 some.
Right. Exactly. Or even if you hit your donut hole,
right,
there's no relief. because I can get. I'm paying $250 for it once I hit my donut hole for Victoza here. But if I bought it there for $369, but guess what? If I could use my Medicare insurance to buy that Victoza for $369, I'm not going to hit my donut hole. Or if I hit it, I'm not going to hit it till November. And then I only have to pay 25% of $369, not 25% of $1,000. But here's the real problem, Bill, is we've got what's called PBMs, pharmaceutical benefit managers. They're the middleman.
Right.
They're the middleman between the manufacturer and the pharmacy. Okay? So I don't understand exactly how it works. Someday we're going to get a pharmacist on as a guest to explain it. But basically, it goes through the middleman, which is the PBM, the pharmacy benefit manager. They mark it up. Obviously, if the price difference is $1,000 and $370, or let's just call it $400, there's a $600 gap somewhere. Where's it going to? Well, most of it's going to this PBM, this pharmacy benefit manager, and then some of it kicked. This is some people don't understand. You never hear insurance companies crying a whole lot about the prices of medication because they're getting kickbacks.
Right.
So maybe out of that $600, I don't know what's being kicked back to the insurance company. I don't know how much of that's being kicked back to them. $200, $250, I don't know. This is the stuff that's behind the curtain that we don't see. That we need to pull this curtain open. We need to see what's behind it. And listen, I'm trying my best to pull back the curtain.
And yet you can't get something like Eliquis approved from some insurance companies because warfarin, otherwise known as Coumadin, is still out there. So it just seems like everybody's working hand in glove here.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, obviously for the fleecing of in this on this big of a scale, everybody's got to be in on it, right? Government, the manufacturers, the middleman. Again, every other country in the world is people are able to buy those drugs for that amount. And again, listen, I'm not for socialized medicine. I'm not for it. But I'm guessing because it's socialized medicine, the Canadian government's going to, going to Novo Nordisk and saying, if you don't give it to us for cheaper, we're not buying it.
And we're going to approve something else that's giving us
correct.
Yeah, so
that's listen. The number one reason why drugs are so expensive in the United States is the PBMs, the pharmacy benefit manager.
That's 2:48. We've got about 10, 12 minutes left. If you want to give us a call, 724-438-4593. And we do have someone on the line here, Aaron. Hi, you're on the air with Aaron Zolbrod. Who are we talking with here?
Hi, it's Diane here. I have a quick question, and I don't know if you can even answer it, but I seem to be getting prescriptions now that, and am I allowed to say the name of the drug?
Yes, absolutely. You can say the name of your drug. You absolutely can. I just can't. And you can mention insurance companies. I just can't.
Okay, it's Losartan.
Okay.
And I started out, I was doing really good on it, didn't have no side effects to it, and then all of a sudden it started coming from a manufacturer that I'm told is insisted on our area in Pennsylvania. They have to purchase from certain manufacturers, only to find out that it's coming in from out of China. And now I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you got to talk to your doctor. I've got a friend that's in the same situation, and it's that she can only take a certain manufacturer's because she has the same problems. And what's funny is I take one prescription regularly, and I noticed that the pill was larger. It wasn't the same size, and it's not working as well either for me.
They're telling me it's the fillers.
And I don't know what right exactly. So, I mean, I guess you're going to have to do some research, and your doctor's going to have to, you're going to have to work in conjunction with your doctor, your pharmacy, and the insurance company, probably, to try to find where this other, where was the one that you were getting manufactured? How can we get that?
They discontinued it.
it completely that manufacturer is no longer doing it? Are we 100% sure of that?
Right. There was 3 manufacturers I was okay on, and they discontinued all three of them. Now they're forcing me to get them from out of China, and my copay went from $4 to 0, and I'm like, well, that tells me right there.
Right.
I should be putting a red flag up.
Well,
I'm having all kind of side effects, including weight gain, the stomach issues, and it's like I'm not happy with it.
So here's what I would do. So losartan is one type of blood pressure medication. There's beta blockers and there's this and that and the other. Right. I don't know what losartan is. There's another one. Usually when they end in the same thing, like artan. Mm-hmm. So you're taking losartan. Well, there's a valsartan. And there's a something other, So what I would do is I would get with your doctor, and I would say, let's find something that's in the same drug family, right? Whether it's a beta blocker or a whatever inhibitor. I'm no doctor. I just hear these things. Yeah. You want to get the same inhibitor or, blocker, beta blocker, whatever it is, and let's try another name.
And I did that, and I've been through I don't know how many different categories, and this was the one that this doctor from Pittsburgh put me on. Didn't have no weight gain, didn't have no sinus issues.
And then all of a sudden, boom, they switch manufacturers. And
right.
All I can tell you is at that point, hopefully, they're talking about bringing the supply chains back to the United States, and maybe these people will start, or at least getting them out of China. At least.
The question is what manufacturer is there here in the States that I can request a blood pressure medicine from?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Whenever I'm looking online to try and find out, USA manufacturers for these blood pressure medicines, they're coming from all other countries. I'm not finding anything from our country.
Well, let me tell you why. It's because we don't manufacture a lot of generic drugs here. The 2 biggest manufacturers in the world are a company out of Israel called Teva.
Right.
And then there's another one out of India. That actually is the largest manufacturer of generics in the world. That wouldn't bother me, those 2 countries, as much, because we've been getting drugs from them forever, and you're probably already taking medications that are coming from one of those 2 companies.
I'll take the one, and I've tried both from India and China, and neither one is okay with me.
Well, they're getting ready to make laws. They're getting ready to pass or create legislation that's going to say certain drug medications need to be manufactured in the United States.
And
let's hope that brings that. Let's hope that we bring that back. You know what I think needs to happen? We don't normally know where our drugs are manufactured, right? You just happen to look into it.
Right.
I think there needs to be a law passed quickly that every single item we purchase needs to say where it's manufactured, not where it's distributed from, but where it's manufactured.
Right.
Or where most of the ingredients come from. Because you know what? They might put the pill together here, but if all the ingredients come from China, what difference does it make if they bond it here, stamp it, put it into pill form? It still came out of China, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Why can't we do the same that we do for color TVs or cars?
Right. Cars have to tell you, right? You go buy a car, and it tells you what percentage of the parts are manufactured in the United States, right?
Right.
Right.
Why aren't we getting that? Like, I looked at my acetaminophen today, and I looked at had a little jar of Vaseline. It doesn't say where it's made. It said who it's distributed by. I don't want to know who it's distributed by.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to know where it's made, and I think we need laws, especially for our medications. It's like that's been another big hidden secret for years. Is you can't look at your box and see where it's made. It doesn't say anywhere on your box where that drug was manufactured. Nowhere.
Yeah.
And Diane, if you would please follow up on this, and once you find out, I think we'd be interested in knowing this. I've got another call I need to take. So Diane, thank you for joining us. Be healthy, okay?
Thank you. You too. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
And we are taking calls still. We got about 5 minutes left here at 724-438-4593. Again, if you want to call Aaron at the health insurance store, it's 724-603-3403. And Aaron, I think we have enough time for one more call. So, hi, you've got about 3 or 4 minutes here. Who are we talking with here?
Joyce. I've called before and have talked to Aaron before.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi. I was just in regard to the lady that just called in regard to, and you mentioned valsartan. She was on losartan.
Uh-huh.
I am also on losartan. I was taken off of valsartan probably, I don't know if it's been a year. It's when they come out with the information on the news and stuff, the valsartan could have cancer causing.
Oh, yeah, right, gotcha.
Okay, so my cardiologist took me off of valsartan right away and put me on losartan. Now, I'm just wondering, since she said about the weight gain and certain stomach stuff, I'd have to go back and see when I started on either one of those, because it seems within the last few years, maybe 2 years, I've had a problem with that. So I don't know, too. I kept saying to my different doctors, could it be from some of the medication I'm taking? Because I never had that problem.
Well, that's what's great about this show is one person calls in and we're going to say, wow, I'm having that same issue. So,
right.
It's listen, obviously it's an issue, right? It's not just with one person. It's now all of a sudden with two. So guess how, imagine how many other people are going through the same thing. And it sounds to me like there's something in the, like you said, in the fillers or something that they're using.
Yeah.
That's not agreeing with people. So, we appreciate you calling in, and it's a major issue.
I think the valsartan they did take off. So.
Okay, that it's not even available anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. At least until they change it around. Hey, Joyce, thank you for the call. Give us a call anytime, please. And thank you, Joyce. We have about 3 minutes left here, and want to wrap things up. By the way, are there any other programs like what's being offered by Nova? Or
well, we talk about PACE and PaceNet again. PaceNet for a single person is right around $29,000, and for a married couple is around $38,000 to qualify. And the beautiful part about that is that's going to last year after year after year after year. We don't need to keep re-enrolling. So one thing about this Nova Nordisk program or any other patient assistance program foundation like this is you got to reapply every year. So what they were very quick to tell me was it's going to be good till next year, and then you've got to reapply. And so we've also run into foundations where they run out of money. So you can apply, so if you don't apply at a certain time and you apply maybe September, they're out of money and you can't get it. So PACE and PaceNet are PaceNet is the best, because what PaceNet's going to do it's going to make sure you don't pay more than $15 for any medication. So we could get PaceNet enough to worry about enrolling in this. I'd pay $15 for Tresiba, for Victoza, for Novolog, for Humalog, for Eliquis, for whatever it is. We wouldn't need to worry about it. So, PACE and PaceNet are available. Again, we can help you through that. One thing I want to mention, too, really quickly, I forgot. Your assets doesn't determine anything. I just applied for PaceNet for a guy that has $300,000 in the bank. You could have $300,000 in the bank and still qualify for these medications at no cost. So if you got a home, you've got some property, you've got a little bit of money in the bank, doesn't have anything to do with it. Okay, it's your taxable income. Period. End of story.
So, and again, if you want more information, if you need help on any of these issues or with any health insurance, call Aaron at 724-603-3403, and you can hook up on the phone. That you can do a Zoom conference and more until we are finally opening up all of our doors. And with that, Aaron, it's been a fascinating hour, and I'm sure we'll reapproach this subject in some future date.
You got it.
All right. Hey, Aaron Zolbrod, thank you. This has been at the Health Insurance Store on your local station on What's on Your Mind here on WMBS. Again, the number for the Health Insurance Store, 724-603-3403, or online at getyourbestplan.com. Coming up on 3 o'clock in news time on your local station, W266DB, WMBS Uniontown.